We're very lucky to have Naomi Buff here today, an integrative holistic and wellness expert. Naomi has over 10 years experience supporting clients who come to her clinic with a variety of issues ranging from weight loss to menopause, body confidence, mental health concerns, or just navigating their way through major life concerns. Naomi uses holistic coaching techniques and holistic modalities to help her clients make powerful lifelong changes, whether it's cacao ceremonies, sound baths, or her accountability coaching to keep people on track and making positive changes in their lives. We're very lucky to have Naomi here today with us, and also to have Naomi joining our Press Wellness Council for the next many, many years. Welcome, and thank you for being a part of it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ed.
Thank you for being here today. We're very grateful to have you both here for this interview and chat, and also as part of our Wellness Council. It's super exciting. So we're going to kick off. We've got a bunch of questions to ask, so I'll get into it at the beginning. So professional stuff at the beginning. So what drew you to your industry, your profession, your path in the first place?
So it's by accident, actually. So in 2011, I moved to Monaco with my now ex-husband and my two children. My son was 1 at the time, and he went from being the perfect little baby, eating all of the lovely Annabelle Carmel cooked meals that I beautifully prepared, to eating nothing, to eating just pasta, bread, yogurt, milk. That was it. And I took him to the doctors, both in Monaco, and brought him back to the UK, and they just said, as long as he's eating lots of milk and protein and yogurts, it's absolutely fine. And I knew enough about nutrition to think that's not right. So I started to study nutrition for myself. And
this is with no particular nutritional background. Nothing. Other than just nothing at this point. Okay.
Nothing, but I'd always been relatively healthy. I'd always
and
worked
into it
out.
And got it, yeah.
I wasn't massively into junk food or anything like that, so it was already there. But I just started to study nutrition. I started to create healthy recipes for him. So lots of smoothies, like cookies made with quinoa flour and stuff. And this is before it got trendy, 2011. It wasn't really heard of.
Totally.
And I'd get superfoods into him. So my way of thinking was, well, if I can just get any nutrition into him in any way possible, then that would make me happy. And so I started to create recipes. All of the stuff that we eat now and we take for granted, I was kind of making these recipes up like 12, 13 years ago. And I loved it so much. I was really passionate about it. I was like, this is actually really easy. And it tastes amazing, and it's really quick, and it's really good for you. So I started just to show people how to make it. I thought, I'll just get a group of women together. And because I was doing a course about nutrition, so I was learning about it. I was like, you do a bit of this and a bit of that. And it's really good for you because it's got this, and this nutrients. And then they'll try it, and they go, wow, this is incredible. And so I started to do workshops, and they grew. I was attracting. As I said, I was living in Monaco, so it was completely non-existent over there. And that was the beginning of my career, which went on to restaurant consultancy. I basically changed the way that Monaco was eating, because I worked with hotels and restaurants, and I'd write menus, and the hilarious thing was, I don't speak French, and I'm not a trained chef, but I was in the kitchen with all of these big French chefs. Proper French
chefs who are quite scary, and there's a lot going on back there.
There's little me telling them what to do, it did not go down.
No, I can imagine. Yeah.
And I knew enough about French. I knew French from school to understand what they were saying, and I was like, no, I don't understand any French, but I could understand, and I'd just stand there nodding, thinking, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But so that was the beginning of my career. But then alongside that, then my health actually started to suffer. So my career was looking amazing on the outside, but on the inside, my marriage was falling apart, and there was loads of things that caused me to fall into chronic fatigue. Yeah. So I was really, really struggling. So my journey was the external career that I had started, and then my journey trying to find ways to help myself feel better. Sometimes just walking up the stairs would bring me to tears because I had such little energy. But I was doing all of the right things. I was drinking juices, I was on lots of supplements, I was exercising.
Yeah.
But I was burning myself out, and I eventually cutting out all of these things, but nothing was helping. And then it took ending a very toxic marriage to all of a sudden feel amazing.
Right. Well, all that adrenaline and cortisol that's just sitting there, just wearing you down all the time, right? Like, it's probably a part of it at least.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So then, and then when did you come back here? How did you carry that journey on? Like, how did that continue?
Yeah, so I came back here summer 2017.
Okay.
And I thought that would be the end of all my problems, but it wasn't. Like
That's just life, isn't it? As in, because it's all done, and then
but then I wasn't very excited about my career because everything that I was doing in Monaco and had this amazing success. I wasn't very excited about it over here. I was like, everybody's already doing this stuff. So I kind of I had a food product which I'd brought to market as well. So I was kind of like dipping in and out. I was doing a few workshops. I was coaching a few clients. And it wasn't until January 2020 that I went to a sound bath, which completely changed my life.
Amazing.
And I instantly came out and firstly left my ex-husband and then trained in sound therapy, Reiki. And thankfully I got all of this in just before we went into lockdown because it absolutely saved me and got me through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think when we came out of that first lockdown, I started to see clients and integrate these different modalities, and I just saw the results completely change. I was getting incredible results with my clients. So,
sound bath, was there a outpouring of tears? Sound bath moment? I had that during a Wim Hof class that like also saved me years ago when I was just very, very just burnt out and but like there was a real like, oh my God, just a moment of quiet that then all of this stuff came to the surface and then poured out, and I was like, wow, and felt so different after than before. It was like, oh wow, it's not a cosmic given that I feel terrible every day.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so profound.
Okay, so bringing us up to more current, what gets you out of bed every day?
So my morning routine. So and I've been doing this since lockdown, since we went into lockdown. As I said, I left my ex-husband, so my life was a complete mess. I was a completely different person, and the only thing that would get me through every day was my morning routine.
Yeah.
And I have pretty much done it every single day since. And it will always change, but it always involves meditation, gratitude, intention setting. Sometimes I'll read, sometimes I'll pull tarot cards. At the moment I'm drinking cacao. But yeah, I call it my bulletproof morning because if I do that, I'm like, I can do anything. And my life's completely changed as a result of it.
And is that a lot of that about setting aside just the time because it's that time? So I do journaling and whatever, it's almost like whatever it is, it's just finding that time to set yourself up and have that beginning bit rather than phone and jump into it and forget that you even had a shower or that did I wash my hair this morning? I can't remember because I wasn't even present in that moment.
Yeah, well, it's about prioritising myself. So with the work that I do, and probably like similar to you, like you're always given like so much to other people. So if I wake up and usually it's about an hour, but a bad day is like 15 minutes, and that's like an express bulletproof morning.
Yeah.
But if I can prioritise myself for the first moments of my day before anybody else needs me, before children, dog, anybody needs me, then that sets me up because I'm going me first.
Yeah, that's nice. Remember that, everyone. Me first.
Me first.
No, me first. So obviously you practice multimodality wellness in lots of areas. What's happening? What's like on the horizon for you in terms of new practices, new things that you're seeing working for clients? What's going on?
So in terms of like clients, I get them to do my bulletproof morning because I've seen miracles happen as a result of that. And if somebody's working with me, I want them to get quick results for them really, so that they have that enthusiasm and that drive to keep going. So definitely like the bulletproof morning, but that's always changeable, because life is always changing, and I don't wake up feeling the same every single day. We're all human beings, we're not robots, even though like the current trends, all this AI, which is really quite scary because that is all very robotic and it isn't like personal tuning into ourselves. So I've always got like a very fluid approach with life.
And so for clients, is it, presumably it's about customizing to their needs, their routines, their lifestyle?
Absolutely. I mean, as I said, I usually wake up at 6 a.m. and my bulletproof morning has me doing stuff until 7. And then it's like, right, I can get out of bed now. I can take on the world. But for a lot of people who have never prioritized themselves, first I have to give them permission because they won't do it for themselves. So I say, well, if you won't do it for you, will you do it for me? They go, oh yeah, of course I'll do it for you, Naomi. Which is really fascinating.
Yeah.
It's really, really interesting how people devalue themselves. And also doing it for an hour. If I was to say to somebody who won't even spend 5 minutes on themselves, can you sit and do an hour? Absolutely impossible. So it's all about looking at an individual and just saying, well, what can you do? What can you do? What can you commit to? Because I've got 3 C's in life, and that's commitment. So committing to yourself like nobody has ever committed to you in your whole entire life. You have to become your number one fan. That doesn't come from a partner, a parent, a friend. It has to come from you. The relationship that we build with ourselves, that's our most important relationship, and we're putting so much emphasis on relationships with other people, that validation from a partner, from a parent, from a friend, from social media to tell us that we're okay. But really it starts with that inner work, that inner journey, and making ourselves our own best friend. So that's that commitment. And then consistency. You have to show up for yourself every single day. And there will be days where you will be resisting, tired, hungover, hating the world, it's raining, too much to do. There's 1,000,001 excuses.
Have you read my journal? This sounds very, very of pattern of behaviour that lives in my world.
Absolutely. But it's in the times of resistance when that's the time when we need it the most. When we want to run away, it's no, I have to do this. I've made a commitment to myself, so I have to be consistent. So that's a consistency, showing up for yourself no matter what. Okay, there's no excuses. And then connection, and that's that inner connection. And so when we give ourselves time and space just to explore that inner world, our inner thoughts, our feelings, people don't sit with themselves. People don't give themselves generally time to explore. How do I really feel? How does it feel to be me right now? So that connection to ourselves, that's the key to evolving, and we learn about ourselves. I actually have got a really amazing quote which I love to share. It's, we can read books and we'll become smart, but when we learn to read ourselves, we can become anything. And I think that's so true, because we're always looking for education from, well, I've just done this course, I've just got this certificate, and it's all, look at what I've read, look at what I'm listening to. But really it's listening to yourself. That's where the real magic and miracles happen. Well,
the other stuff's all quite external progress that sort of you can put on you can kind of show.
Yeah.
Whereas this is much more meaningful and deep.
But it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. And the showing up every day bit, but also that is why the I'll do it for Naomi thing is probably quite important, because it's also accountability to someone who's going to not hold you, is hold you to account to make sure that you are doing it. Because I think you do need, it's I do that for my goal setting, is having an accountability partner. Yeah. We both check in once a month to say, how are you doing on your goals? Yeah. Are you on track with the things you wanted to achieve this year, or the things you wanted to prioritize, whether that's wellness or other? Yeah. But it's hard on your own, I think.
It is hard, yeah.
It's because life just gets in the way, or you're tired one day and you don't want to get out of bed, or... that's great. We need many discussions after this. Okay, so talk about what's the journey for a client? I'm going to have some juice. What's the journey for a client who comes to you? How do they find you, first of all? And then I'm presuming referrals is a thing. How do they do that? And then what's the journey when you meet someone, and how does that whole process work?
So I get a lot of referrals. I do a lot of events. So people will usually have come to one of my events and will know what my approach is. I try to step away from being normal.
Okay.
I don't do normal.
How so? Day to day or in the process?
Just in everything.
That's good.
If anybody says that's the worst way to offend me, just to say, oh yeah, you're really normal. I'm like, what?
Yeah, fair.
No, but I think I don't like to follow a trend. I'll always prefer to to find my own way.
Yeah.
So clients know that I do things very differently, and in terms of like coaching, like I would say, like I'll have coaches, clients come to me who want to lose weight. And so it's fine, but I'm not going to talk to you about diets because the food is not even the issue. Okay, we will work in all other areas of your life, but then I also will do the coaching element, which brings the stuff up to the surface, and then I'll do Reiki, which is like an energy healing, which kind of like clears it all, and then I do sound therapy, which just is like a broom and it sweeps it all away. So I've had like so much success with clients who have come like and for weight loss without even doing a diet, by literally like clearing through past traumas and belief systems around food, like what people believe around food, and where these things trigger from, like where they started, and then unpicking them and going back to the root. And so as a result of that, when we like let go of the weight that we're carrying on our shoulders, then naturally when we become happier in ourselves, in that inner world, we want to eat better. So the need for like comfort eating, for alcohol, it slips away without that trek of like really
tracking or doing totally.
And like hating what you're eating, or having to calorie count, or like stick to diet plans. It's so not fun. It doesn't, because it doesn't get to the reason why. Like food, nutrition should be fun, it should be enjoyable, it's individual. And the same with what you're doing with your eating plans and the nutrition plans that you're doing. It should be completely tailored to, what do you want to eat today? How does that food make you feel?
No, totally. Well, and as you said, that unblocking of all this stuff that's just sitting there, whether that's day-to-day stuff that you're just dealing with all the time, or whether it's legacy, deeper things, like having moments to clear that away. I mean, I've definitely had moments of that in my life where it's been catalysts and moments, but that's amazing. Stress. So I presumably both for yourself, but also you've obviously been through a journey on that, managing that, but also in terms of clients, presumably like it feels like stress is on the agenda in a way it never was before. Do you find that's a common thing with clients? Like, how does that conversation happen? Like, I mean, there's so many ways to be stressed, but
I mean, stress is definitely real.
For sure.
I keep trying to run away from it, but it keeps coming and finding me. But I think like the way that I deal with stress, so a lot of what I teach to my clients is stuff that I've learned through my own experiences. I mean, I've got lots of certificates that say that I do what I do, but really like my biggest teacher has been my own experiences. So like in terms of stress, the way that I approach it is very mindfully, and I think, and again, it comes back to that bulletproof morning. If I prioritise myself for a set time every day, whatever comes to me, I can't control the stresses. Okay, and this is how I try to educate my clients: is you can't control the challenges that happen around you. That's without of your control. The only thing that you are in control of is what your response to that stress is. So if you know like the tools, if you know the triggers, if you take responsibility for yourself in every situation, then it puts you in control and it gives you the power to respond in whatever way. I mean, one of like my favourite ways to relieve stress, like an instant one, is breath. You mentioned Wim Hof, so you will be familiar with how profound and how that instant reset.
Crazy, like unbelievable.
Yeah, but the breath is like something that we've got with us at all times. You don't need your phone and app. You know, it's something that even if like you're stripped down to like your underwear and everything's been taken from you, you've still got your breath. Nobody can take that, you know? So it's a resource that we've all got. So when you learn how you can control your breath, and how like controlling your breath controls your state, can alter your state, and then that in turn has a impact on the decisions you make, which then has an impact on like the results that you get in your life. You know, so it's just like the understanding of how we work and how the stress is within our control, and you always have a choice. You know, we have a choice with how we respond, and when you realise that, and this is what I try to teach to my clients, and my approach to it personally and with my clients is okay, like I'm responsible for this. I'm responsible for my reaction to this. And then it becomes easier to handle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it's that thing about, it's not the world that makes us stressed, it's how we react to the world.
Completely.
And like, because unless something is actually physically touching you, it's just you reacting in whatever way you are programmed to, or you've learnt to, or you're habitually. I mean, the breathing thing, for me, the biggest thing was that it was the simplicity of, rather than the idea of meditation, which is obviously has breathing involved in it, and there are lots of different types, is just follow these steps and your body fundamentally will reduce cortisol and adrenaline production, your heart rate will slow, and then you'll get into a place that is calm. And that was awesome, because it was just like, just follow the steps. Like do 100 press-ups a day, you'll see a result, or whatever it is. For me, as a very simple person, I was quite like, it felt very controllable. And then knowing what that's doing for you, and then you have belief, and then you feel it, and then you go, okay, cool, I can now control when I'm feeling bad, I can do this, and it's amazing. So some of that, and what we're doing we have a magazine that we're relaunching, it's called The Squeeze at the moment, but a lot of what we want to share in that is not specific to what we do as a business in terms of the nutrition side, but in general, that wellness thing of trying to find easy ways for people to get information that helps them deal with mostly being unhappy. And for me, like, one of the learnings was, if someone says, how are you doing? And you said stressed, that's not the same as saying busy. Busy is, I've got lots of things to do, but I can be joyful in being busy and having lots to do. Stress means you're afraid. And if you're afraid, you're producing adrenaline and cortisol. And the game is to try and get rid of fear, because we're all pretty happy when there's no fear. And it's not a default that you're afraid all the time about failure or whatever it is. So, I mean, this is your world so much deeper than mine, but personal experience from it has been amazing to have that. And as you said, that makes you have true conviction plus qualifications to be able to talk to people with real passion and conviction when you're telling them, hey, this morning routine will make such a difference to your whole day, trust me, and also make sure you do it and check in with me every day. So a couple of stories with clients, if you're willing to share, obviously no names, about good results that you've had, things that have happened. I'm sure there are patterns where you've seen before, but like anything particularly that of late that you've seen where you've had great results, or profound moments that have made you feel really good about helping someone.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because I'm doing some work on my business at the moment, really working on developing a lot of different areas in my personal business. And I actually contacted a lot of my clients recently, and it was really beautiful to see like how I'd had an impact on their lives. A lot of the themes were coming up. You've made me feel like me again. You've given me back purpose in life. I mean, I've worked with like a lot of trauma. I don't go out looking for people with trauma, but for some reason it comes and finds me.
Well, that makes sense, I think.
It does
Right.
make sense. I think because like I'm very open and honest about my journey, about what I've like gone through, because it's what's got me here today. And sometimes I'll talk about it and people go, oh, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, no, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, because it's through the bedroom floor moments where my life, when I was a complete mess, I was at my absolute lowest. It was like, right, okay, well, I get the opportunity now to rebuild my life on my terms, and I have done that. So I'm very open about what my journey is, and that's how I try to help like my clients. A really powerful story. I had a client come to me, and she literally wrote a list of all of her traumas, and she'd had like a lot of things. And I said, okay, well, what's the first thing that you feel drawn to, that you feel that we need to work on today? And she said like a trauma with her mum. I said, okay, and we spoke about what that was. And I said, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is this affecting you? And I think it was like 0 being nothing and 10 being it's really
Everything.
affecting me, yeah. And it's an 8. I said, okay, so what's the emotion attached to that? She said, anger. Whereabouts in your body is it? Heart. Okay. So then we went in and we did some inner child healing through like a guided meditation that I led, and then some sound therapy. And at the end she was crying, and I said, okay, how does your heart feel? How angry are you? She went, nothing. She went, I've got nothing but just pure love for my mum. And this is a woman in her late 40s who had held on to such a lot of like anger, resentment for so many years. And at the end of it, she was just like, I've just got nothing but love. And then she was able to go and like heal that relationship with her mum. And And it's made such a powerful impact. But I've got lots of different stories,
No,
very
totally.
similar to that. But even one of my clients, her daughter was really struggling, and she said, "Would you see my daughter?" And I said, "Well, I'm not qualified to work with children as such, but you can be in the room and we can work together." And I worked with her daughter, who at the time we didn't know what the issues were, but she wasn't going to school. She was highly sensitive. And we did some sound therapy. We did a little bit of Reiki, worked with some crystals. I just chatted to her. And she ended up seeing me for, I think, just over a year. And then they've gone off to Australia now. But the mum said to me, she said, like, my daughter's been seeing a psychiatrist for 6 months. That was, you got more of an impact in an hour. And so that was really beautiful as well. So
it's amazing.
yeah, I feel really lucky.
Yeah, it's awesome to get to do that and see it. And as you said, it's not normal inverted commas, because there are lots of places where you might go for these outcomes that might be driven by a GP talking to your daughter or your child or you and saying, here's the right step, which is what is defined a bit more like medical world process. See a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but there's a lot of other things that need to go on, and also for people who've done the journey, which makes a big difference. So there's empathy in the room from the beginning. So that's amazing. Oh yeah, so food, how do you approach nutrition in your own life?
So I'm a flexitarian.
Yeah.
So I eat what I want when I want. And it's taken me a long time to get to this place. People say, "Oh my God, you eat gluten, you eat sugar." I'm like, well, if I want it, then yeah. Oh my God, you drink alcohol? Yeah, now and again. And I think because working in wellness, there's an expectation that we have a health halo that is shining 100% of the time. It's not realistic, and I have tried to live to that expectation, and I was unhappy and I would fail all the time. So my approach is 80% angel, and that's very much based on what I want to eat, how I feel on that day, and then I've got 20% to hula hoop with my halo.
Nice.
And then there's times when it falls all the way down to the ground and I fall over my halo and end up flat on the floor, and that's usually after 2 tequilas. But
but also life is balance, and that itself is balance. And you said the word failure as well, and you're like, why set yourself up to that place where there is a perfect standard and then
it's not fun. I love food, I love cooking, I love eating. So for me, food has to be that. And I've tried to do restrictive diets in the past. They don't work. I'm the type of person, if you say don't eat sugar, Naomi, and even I'm not a massive sugar fend anyway, I love a little bit now and again, but if you tell me not to eat it, I'm literally going to go to the corner shop.
It's triggering that.
And I'm going to buy 25 bags of Haribo and they're all gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I don't do well with rules. However, saying that, which completely contradicts this, I love intermittent fasting, and that really does work for me, where I'll just eat within a certain window. It works better for me, energy-wise, metabolism, and I just feel generally much better when I do intermittent fasting. But another approach, and this is what I share with my clients as well, is instead of looking at foods in terms of good and bad, I hear this so often, as I'm sure you do as well. I've had a really bad day. I ate really bad today. Oh, that is you're sitting on you're putting yourself on the shame step, where guilt, shame, everything else coming up. I'm a really bad person because I had a bite of a Mars bar, honestly. And it's really interesting to see what people perceive as being bad. So what I try to do, I do a lot of reframing and a lot of mindset work. So I'll always get them just to make the shift that food isn't good or bad, it's high vibrational or low vibrational. So a high vibrational food is obviously the juices that we've got here, it's all whole food, natural ingredients. Low vibrational foods is anything that's in a packet that's been manufactured. And it's just, and as soon as you start to see food in a different way, high vibrational food, yes, it's going to make you feel high vibrational, it's going to give you natural energy. Low vibe, you're going to feel rubbish when you eat that. But just making that shift is really powerful, and it takes you off of the shame step.
Well, it's less pointed at you, isn't it? It's about the food itself. It's less about it's bad and therefore I'm bad.
Yeah, and then it brings a mindful approach. Well, how does that food make me feel? Well, actually, it doesn't make me feel good. And it also gives you the choice, because like when I eat something that's low vibrational, I know that, you know what, I'm not going to feel great after this. But I don't care. It's going to taste amazing. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to overindulge, and I'm going to be very present in the moment, and I'm going to have an experience. So I'm very much more
now
about
I'm
that.
doing it for that moment, knowing.
Exactly.
We my big thing was always the word should is so present in everyone's inner monologue. And I always think about the gym used to be my way of thinking about it, which was if I'm sitting at home or it's the morning and I've gone, I'm going to go to the gym this morning, and then I go to the gym, I'll discount that down because I'll say, well, I should have gone to the gym. So I just did the thing that I should have done anyway, rather than giving myself like positive credit for having gone and done it, because you're like, well, I should have gone because that's what I should have done. And if I don't go, then all I'm thinking is I should have gone to the gym. I should have gone to the gym. Both ways you're fucked. Like you live your life constantly feeling neither positive for making good decisions, nor okay about having made the decision to not, because you chose it. So
and that's counterproductive to the benefits that you're going to actually get from going to the gym because you know what, it shifts my state, and it makes me feel like better. When I feel better, I'm XYZ.
Yeah, well, that's why in the office, if I've been to the gym in the morning, everyone knows. I'm really just like to tell everyone how great my morning's already been. But that's a good thing. Like, we'll share those good moments. Yeah. What books are you reading at the moment, if any? What kind of books do you read?
I love anything. I love like autobiographies. One of my favourite books is called The Surrender Experiment. I always recommend that to clients and friends.
Okay.
That's by Michael Singer. It's a true story about what happens if we just surrender and let life lead, rather than like constantly saying yes or no to things. So that's really fascinating. I love Joe Dispenza, so I'm always reading his stuff.
Write that down, by the way. Yeah, taking notes. Yeah, good.
And I've got an audiobook at the moment, Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh, yeah, I've read it. Yeah, it's amazing. Unbelievable. Beautiful. And one to come back to as well, because it's short, and it's one of those ones that you have to kind of come and re-engage with all the time. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, brutal and crazy and amazing. Totally. Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
I have an audiobook for that. That's great. I haven't been I'm getting back into audiobooks. I tend to have fiction in my life, and then audiobooks for that is good. I need that. Nice. What's coming up in terms of, for you, what's on the horizon? What's new?
Oh my gosh, I've got so many exciting things coming up. So we're coming into festival season, so I've got lots of events coming up. So I'm at Mind, Body, Spirit on Bank Holiday Monday, the 29th of May. And that's doing a Manifesting Miracles masterclass, which is amazing.
Awesome.
I've got some amazing collaborations coming up as well. I'm going to be at the Kent Wellness Festival. I'm going to be working with a company called Fever. I'm going to be doing candlelit sound baths in Bristol and Cardiff. I'm doing a plant medicine retreat in Ibiza.
Awesome.
So that's going to be awesome as well. I've got cacao ceremonies, a summer solstice ceremony. I've got lots of regular sound baths as well. So it's a busy summer.
That is busy.
I love it though. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's great. And because you're always connecting with people with all those moments. And if you love that, that's amazing. Good to be possibly an extrovert, I think. Maybe like an introvert would find it hard.
Yeah,
probably.
well, I am actually, my secret is I'm actually like a secret introvert.
Go. Okay. There's a great book called Quiet, which is all about essentially that the world is mostly designed by extroverts because they say what they want, and introverts get kind of punished for being secretly quiet and don't necessarily want to do it. So wait, you're an introvert. Well, Let's talk about that.
Well, people think that I'm very confident and very an extrovert because I do events for like 150 people sometimes. I'm very confident, I'm very easy with people, love people, but I love like that solace, like just going crawling, like closing my bedroom door, hiding under the duvet. If I don't have my me time where I can just retreat, and I think that's why like my morning is so important, that hour in the morning, that's my introverted inner time. But it's not comfortable. I hate networking. If you put me in a room and say, go and network with people and come back with connections, I'm like, I'd rather stick hot pins in my eyes because that really pushes me out of my comfort zone. I think because it feels so like unnatural.
Forced.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I definitely get that. It's the problem is high frequency human being that then you have to take time to like recharge and have space on your own.
Yeah. But I think like a lot of people, from what I've seen from a lot of people, people can't be on their own, so they're always like needing to be around people. I am around people, but I very much need to be on my own at times, like just to recharge my batteries. And if I don't, then everyone knows.
Yeah, what happens? How does it feel? Because I've had conversations with this where friends who are, I think, similar to myself, where you can keep going and you do have that energy, but if you do it, it comes at a point where you hit a wall and you really can fall down a like fatigue to the point of just nothing left.
Completely nailed it. It is that I can feel, I'm very in tune with my body, and I think that comes from the burnout, from the chronic fatigue, where I can literally feel like my nervous system, like it's almost like it's vibrating, going, yeah, this is a warning, this is a warning. And then when that happens, I'm like, right, I just need to kind of bring myself back. But I'm really good now, like with boundaries and saying no, even. And so I'll cancel things if I have to. I won't cancel an event unless I was practically dying. But certainly if it's like going out for friends and I need to pull back, then I say, look, I'm really sorry, but I can't do this right now. And I did that on Monday. I needed that time for myself, and I was meeting a friend, and I felt awful to let her down. And she just went, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, but imagine that thing of that there's this feeling of like, oh my God, they'll be so upset, or they'll be so, and that's a friend, they'll just go, totally, no stress.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not that great company for London.
She double booked anyway, so
exactly.
It was fine. Right, we've got some sort of silly little quick fire rounds which can have expansions on. So coffee or tea?
Cacao.
Oh yeah, there you go. Right. Okay, wait, actually on that, cacao ceremonies. Tell us about a cacao ceremony. What is it? Tell us all the great stuff.
Okay, amazing. I'm so glad you asked this question. Thank you. So cacao has been like a big part of my life for a while now. So one of the things that I do and that I have been doing for many years is teaching people how to make raw organic chocolate. So it's absolutely life-changing. 5 minutes, 5 ingredients, and it tastes the best thing you'll ever taste, obviously apart from your juices.
Sure. We've actually got dark chocolate in development at the moment with some nice ingredients.
Amazing. That's definitely my bag.
We'll come back to you with that. Actually.
Yes, I want a piece of that. Last year I trained in cacao ceremonies, and it's like it's a ceremonial grade cacao which has incredible benefits to it, and it's harvested with intention. And a cacao ceremony is basically drinking like high quantities of ceremonial grade cacao, so like around about 50 grams. And it's a plant medicine, it increases like blood flow to the brain and to the heart. So in terms of like plant medicines, it opens the heart. Okay, so it really facilitates a heart healing journey. And when you bring that to intention, when you bring it with sound, with meditation, with sharing, with healing, it creates the most beautiful experience where it's completely transformative. So it's probably like my favorite event that I run, because it's a 3-hour experience.
Wow.
And the journey from people walking through the door to when they walk out is off the charts.
Transformative to the point of...
It's at the end, like the whole room's crying, even me. I'll be sitting there like just crying at the beauty of like what's been released, what's been shared, and the journey of these beautiful strangers that have all come together. And yeah, it's amazing. But I drink it every morning as well. So I start my morning with like this ceremonial cacao, which is just done with like intention. I actually have like a kettle next to my bed, so I take it up to bed with me.
Yeah.
And I do bulletproof cacao. So bulletproof coffee.
Yeah, we put the oil in it.
So I do ceremonial grade cacao
or
with
butter.
This is the ceremonial grade cacao, and then I put in MCT oil.
MCT, that's it. Yeah.
Collagen, and then a lion's mane. And I've got a kettle next to my bed, so I just wake up, roll over, click the kettle on, pour my cacao, and then I'm just like very mindfully just thinking about how I want my day to be. And because it's like heart opening, then I'll set my intentions, do some gratitude, and do like a meditation, and I'll just visualize like how I want my day to unfold and unravel. So it's a huge part of my everyday life, and through cacao, like I've actually like got people off drinking coffee, eating sugar, losing weight. It's had such incredible like results, because it's all part of that ritual and that heart healing.
Yeah, and there's loads of studies around cacao and the health benefits. Like I saw a thing about stem cells that they've seen that it like genuinely boosts that for drinking essentially what you're talking about over a month.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Lion's mane, by the way, is one of the things we're looking to put into our dark chocolate.
Oh, I love that.
So as part
when you combine lion's mane and cacao, that's a really good combination. I can't remember why, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great one, guaranteed. Juice or smoothie?
Smoothie.
Okay. What colour of smoothie?
Green.
Yeah, always the winner. Music or movies?
Music.
Okay. And anyone in particular?
I'm absolutely loving Hosier at the moment.
Okay,
yeah.
nice.
And I'm going to see him in July.
Oh,
so,
wicked.
Yeah, I'll be the crazy woman like throwing my knickers.
Yeah, great. It's classic. I would do that at every costume, every gig as well. Morning gym or evening gym or exercise wise?
Morning, all the time.
Okay. So morning ceremony, then gym?
Yep, I do school run and then straight to either a gym class I go to the gym and I'll do my own routine, or I do Pilates reformer. I've actually just got into spin.
Oh yeah.
My body has not realised this yet. My body and brain are not kind of connected on this new revelation.
Oh, spin's incredible.
Yeah.
Brutal at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Early to bed or a night owl?
Early to bed.
Okay, nice. What time? Like, what's good for you in terms of hours of sleep?
I am happy when I get into bed at 9:30.
And what time's the alarm going off?
6.
Yeah, okay.
There's like half an hour like messing around.
Yeah.
But
totally.
My son's 13 now, so like it's such a struggle to get him to bed.
What about getting up? Do kids get up at that age?
He's not too bad actually, but yeah, just getting to bed. He's like, oh please, and I'm like, I want to go to bed. Like, I want you to go to bed so I can go to bed.
Yeah. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Okay, nice. Where was the last place you went on beach trip? You've got Ibiza this summer.
I've got Ibiza. I just come back from Monaco, so I did go onto the beach.
Yeah.
I went to Portugal last year. I've got Portugal this year. Costa Rica. Nice. And Ibiza I've got this year as well.
That's great.
I love to travel.
That's awesome. Sauna or steam room?
Sauna.
I love the sauna. 20 minutes in there is real quiet time.
Yeah.
Like, very happy place.
It is a good place to go.
Okay, number one piece of advice for anyone listening, just easy things that they can do to help,
Number one piece of advice. I've got a couple.
Go. And we have time.
I can't nail it down.
No, it can't, yeah.
It's like saying choose your favourite child.
Yeah.
Choose your favourite juice. You can't do that. Or maybe you could. So probably like celebrate the 2% shifts.
Go on.
I think this is really important because we've all got our goals, and it's really important to have our goals because we need that map of like where we're going. But what we fail to do is actually celebrate like the little small shifts that we have every day, the small wins, like maybe like choosing to drink green juice over a coffee. That's a win. And it's just going, wow, like well done me. I've done something really good for myself today. So celebrating the 2% shifts and really realising how they make you feel. I think that's a really, really key piece of advice. Don't try to change the challenge, change your reaction.
Explain.
So the challenges will happen around us. People are always going to be people. Challenges are always going to challenge. We can't control anything, really. The only thing we have control of is ourselves. So put our energy and focus into ourselves. How can I respond to this challenge in a less stressed way, in a less reactive way, in a less responsive way, so that you're protecting your energy? And if you look after yourself, then the challenge is still there, but your response is not as big or as explosive as it possibly could be. And then you feel much better for doing that. And then the last one is that we are all 100% responsible for everything that we are, everything that we do, and everything that we create. And taking that responsibility is so key, because it's really easy to say, oh, but I've got all of these problems because this person's done this to me. But that's giving the other person like our power.
Yeah.
How I can only heal, I can only feel better
when you change, you know, when if we go, I feel how I feel, and somebody can make you feel a certain way, but you're taking responsibility for your feelings and not putting the blame on anybody else. And that's really powerful, because that gives you the power to make the changes. And again, that is linked in with not trying to change the challenges. It's all about like taking responsibility for our lives. And when we have like 100% responsibility, we can do and be anything that we want, and we can create from that heart-centered space like the life that we really want. And I know this from like my experiences with like going through like a really horrific divorce and marriage, which broke me. These were the things that became like my foundations and the things that I tuned into every day. I was like, yeah, but it's my choice. Like my experiences can define me, they can break me, and I can be a victim of my story, or I can create a new story. Who do I want to be today? It's been present with like all of the stuff that happens, because it does happen, and yeah, it hurts like hell. But the only way that we heal is actually to feel and to be really present with who we are, and have that focus on what we want to be. Like, I'm really into like manifesting. I love manifesting, and it's incredible. And I've been manifesting for years, and I actually found a journal the other day, like stuff that I'd wanted, and it was really superficial. Like it was like, it really was. It was like watches, handbags, and dresses. And it's interesting because I've got all of the stuff in my closet.
Right, it happened though, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
But none of them brought me like any happiness. But it was fascinating just to see that. But now my manifesting is so intentional. It's all about like impact. It's all about purpose. It's all about, okay, how can I create something incredible for myself that has an impact, a positive impact on somebody else, who can help somebody else feel better. So that's a much more collective and powerful way of like manifesting, and how I use that on a day-to-day basis.
I can tell that these guys are all now, the mics go off and you're now just going to spend 2 hours just talking to these guys, which is amazing. Naomi, thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you so much for being a part of our Wellness Council. This is the beginning of a massive and meaningful journey, and I know for us, like, happiness is the goal. That's what we try and do here at Press, whether it's for our team, for our customers, for me. So we're just super excited. This is like the beginning, and I know this actually is so inspiring. You're the first one to come and do these interviews, and we have, you know, more people coming, and it's just exciting because it's been so delightful. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing.
Awesome.
Loved it.
Amazing. Thank you.